Excellent. Hi, Joy. Hi, Charles. Welcome, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I'm really bad at technology. But I've gotten better over the last year and a half.
Right?
Oh,
Forcibly so.
If that doesn't make you learn an iPhone, I don't know what does.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're just giving a few minutes for people to join us. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you. This is Craig LaForest in Sydney, Australia. I just sent an email to say that I couldn't use the link, the Google link. I don't know if it's alive on the computer so you can see everybody, but I've just called in on this number to see if there's any way of getting the correct link. It comes back as invalid each time I click on it.
Oh, no. Let's see.
Yeah.
It did that to me at first, and then I disconnected and reconnected, and it worked.
Okay. Yeah, I've done it several times, and it's still unfortunately not working. So I've gone in and out of the email, and it comes up as invalid video call name, return to home screen.
Will there be a video available of it after for people free, or is it going behind a paywall, or what's happening?
The recording will be in the VIP section of the summit. Craig, are you one of the VIP members?
No, I'm not at this stage. I want to join as a VIP member. I had a bit of a problem, but I was in contact with Kimberly about that, and she came back with an email. So I just need to address that.
Is there a way to?
Let me.
Yeah, I see. I'm now on a page that says video calls and meetings for everybody. Connect, collaborate, and celebrate from anywhere with Google Meet. New meeting. Enter a code or link.
I think that's for him to start a meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be a new meeting.
Yeah, you want to.
Craig, did you just get an email from Kimberly saying that we were going live?
Yes, I did. So I'm clicking on that. I'll click on that again and click on the join link and see what happens.
Yeah, I just tried that in another browser and it did connect me. So
let me try. Let me get that's an idea. I hadn't thought of that. Let me take this link over to another browser and see if that works.
Hey, Sam.
No, we can't hear you. Are you talking to us? We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Put it in the chat. I haven't had a chance to contact you yet, Sam, but I will.
Okay, we're like join here. All right, I'm just going to try a different browser to see if that works.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We've got Tiffany and Kimberly. I'm Tony. For those of you who may have seen me in the group, but we're just working through some issues with trying to get somebody connected right now. We're going to give people just a couple more minutes before we get started. Thank you for being here. Let's see.
Are we able to live stream this from any other platforms?
That's the word, live stream.
In case it's easier for them to join, possibly?
Let's see.
From Facebook or YouTube?
I don't know how to do that. Okay. Let's see, breakout rooms, recordings, transcripts.
Okay, this is looking positive, Tony. I've just gone into another browser.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, there you are. No.
Yep.
Someone wants
Good
to
afternoon,
join us.
good morning. Can you see me all right, or join now?
There you are. Well, there's Craig. Charles, we're still waiting on you, but We can hear you at least.
Right, there I am. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to be here. Good
All
to be
right.
here.
We can see you now.
The B2K has been making such a commotion. I've almost got B2K every single day since I moved back to Australia, 15 years ago. But I've had this for about 35 years. But it's just a game they play. They continue to get me out of bed. You've got to listen into this program. We want to sit back and listen while this is going on, all the BS that's going on. The typical game they play.
Craig, you know what I heard Richard Lighthouse say in an interview with Jeffrey Prather just the other day? He said that people with V2K are reporting that if they go into the United States Senate, where the Senate meets, or Congress, the House of Congress, that they don't have their V2K. So I think people who have V2K ought to go there and test that and report back.
Yeah.
And that may just be somewhere where all of our V2K people may need to just go and take up residence there and go watch every single, just to get some relief and be there with Congress. Your watchful eye while you're getting some relief.
Craig, are you able to
Parliament
unmute
or whatever is
yourself
in
on
their
your
country.
on your device now?
I don't think we can.
Sorry,
hear
am I able to what?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, now, yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. What have you been working on, Tiffany? Anything exciting?
Well, I had to get a second revenue stream, and I've been so busy. There's so many things that I want to look at, and this is one thing about this, guys. I don't have the marketing skill. Like, I have reverse speech skills. I'm not a marketer. I do the best I can. And Amy is my business partner, and Amy Feltz she's on Facebook, and she's fabulous. And she tries to help me with computer as much as possible. And it's just the two of us, and that's it. We don't have a big giant team or anything. And so this may help us. But I had to get a second revenue stream because, like, we just had one customer, and then that customer broke up with her rich boyfriend, and now we have 0 customers. So what I want to tell you guys is, like, we're not making bukus of bucks on here, but if I would like to do this full time, but I have not been able to. I've created this corporation and made the space for it, but I'm doing all that I can do. People have to support the truth. And if you don't support the truth, I have to go get another job, and then I'm too tired to do all this. You see what I'm saying? I only have so much energy a day, and I have nutball cult members hitting me 24/7 at the same time.
And you need marketing.
Yeah. So marketing, Kimberly's helping with that. So maybe we can get some people in and really get some support for out that side of who we are. It's so important. And guys, I'm 55 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when my expiration date is. So there are not very many people doing this on the planet. There are not very many people with this talent set. And it seems to be like sound engineers and things that I've run into are so, follow the science type people that they can't
Think outside the box.
Now, I really don't see a problem between science and God. I just don't. I see a problem with leading science away with money and trickery and lies and deception in order to get that bigger piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And so if for true people who are interested in the truth and navigating by truth and building a foundation on truth, I mean, if everybody in the world were listening to their reverse speech, I mean, it's a direct connection to God through our It's a record of creation. It appears to be the same thing that Edgar Casey was calling the Akashic record. And it appears to be the same thing the Hebrew Bible is describing as the book of life. And it's interesting because I had a client who was missing her parents who had passed and was asking about that. And she was like, she saw this orb and she wondered if her mom was giving her a shout out. Well, reverse speech brought up the Savior, but it divided that into two sections. And it said, look, sister, your mom is with the Savior. It said Savior. Okay. So now it didn't say Jesus. So I can't claim that. I can only tell you what it's saying. I can't go outside of what it's saying, but I can chain the other things up together that I pulled out, because this has to stay, I always look and make sure I've interpreted correctly. And these things are coming, they're falling. They're like, I haven't seen that it's been wrong. I thought it was wrong twice and it was me that was wrong. I can't find a fault with it anywhere. So, this is, like I was a QHHT level 2 certified person, and I had to let that go because those sessions are compromised by the tech that's hitting me and all of us on the internet of every,
Yeah.
So, and so I had to let that go because it's a waste of my time if it's not true. It's a waste of your time if it's not true, because you have to navigate by truth and build your foundation upon truth. That's why they're trying to invert everything so that you don't know what direction to go in. This is your rope out of the mirror, the satanic fun house, the smoke-filled, mirror-filled satanic fun house. This is your rope out of here. So when you support this, that's what you're supporting. You're supporting our return to God and our return to truth and that part of who we are. It's so important, and so like I said, I'm not going to be here forever. So if y'all support truth, then I can return back to doing this full time. We'll see how it goes, because I'm doing the best I can. But so
I think you need to like list out what the benefits are, to have a session with you and what you do and what people get out of it.
So a reverse speech session is kind of like sitting down with God. I'm not saying I'm God. It's like sitting down and being able to query God instead of like Google. Google's the fake false one, and God's the real deal. So, and this is that form of consciousness on that side of who we are, where our dreams and our body language come from. That we learned this before. When we're 4 months old is when this starts being learned by us, and we learn it subconsciously on a subconscious level from our parents, and then it sort of gets bigger as we go. So as to how we're learning that stuff. So we have a subconscious learning system that's being laid down when we're just babies. So and what I tell people on our I'm like, whatever it is that is in your heart, you want your speech when you're in a reverse speech session to be spontaneous and heartfelt. Those produce the best reverse speech and the clearest. So what I suggest is not doing a rote memory thing, but just jotting down what it is that you are interested in hearing about, because whatever you're talking about, you will comment truthfully on in your reverse speech. Okay. So whatever you choose to talk about, you're going to start commenting on that in your reverse speech. Whatever you want to wonder about, you've got something that sounds to me like a little scout. So if it's not something like it's something that you're wondering about, should I do this? Should I do that? But you have to give me enough material. If you just give me a few seconds, it's probably not going to help. You
do sessions.
Huh?
You do sessions then.
Yeah, but it's all, so the one that people, because guys, this is not easy work. It is laborious, and if you should try it. It's like painting for gold with your ears, and you have to be very patient, and it takes a long time, but you're pulling out gold nuggets. It's amazing. So it's very laborious, and you have to document it. And when you do a session, what you'll do is you'll send me, I prefer a video, okay? Because so we have validity factors in reverse speech. And that means if you're just sending me sound and it's a crap recording, then that's what you're going to get back. You know, I'm only as good as what you're sending me to work with. So a good video where I can see your mouth moving, you know, where you're not going like this. So I can't, you know, I need to be able to see your lips moving, because in reverse speech, I'm watching your mouth and listening to make sure that I'm matching it correctly with the context, both forward and backward, to make sure that my accuracy rate is as high as it can possibly be. You see? So I prefer a video, and then I can go through, and when I don't know you and I don't know, you know, anything about you, I'm going to be doing my best. It's going to be a scaffold. I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, I just barely started hearing it.
I want to give an example. So Elon Musk and Trump, I've done both of their reverse speech, and I know a little bit about them from doing their reverse speech, right? So Trump is compromised. They murdered his brother. These are all my findings, my opinions from the reverse speech that I've got. They murdered his brother in order to keep him in line. They brainwashed Ivanka to keep him in line. They married her off to a Chabad Lubavitch nutball to keep her in line. And he's comped. Okay. But I do think there are two teams. There's Team Satan that wants full control. I think that Elon Musk is that line. Yeah. And his great grandfather was head of the technocracy movement in Canada, and look at Canada now, you know. Anyway, so he appears to be Team Satan. Now, Team Diet Satan, they built this internet of everything that goes from the internet of space things all the way down to the internet of bio-nano things. They're literally entrapping creation onto an internet. So that's what we're dealing with. Team Diet Satan they all want enslavement onto that internet. And it's all money from suffering scamming. But Team Diet Satan wants to do it a little more kinder and gentler than Team Satan. But it's all enslavement.
Yeah.
So where I'm coming from is I'm like, you need to, because they're using money from suffering business models to do this. And so they're enslaving. It's an enslavement cult. So they are enslaving you. They're enslaving everybody that's not in the club, and even, you know, rivals, when they have fights with each other, they'll take them down and put them in that. So it's all about enslavement. And so we need to be doing the opposite of that. And so we need to be navigating by truth. We need to flip those business models from money from suffering to truth, life, health, benevolent balance. And so reverse speech, this business is already that. Kimberly's business, already that. We just need people to start supporting these businesses, you see, because they're running money from suffering business models. So what you end up having, if you're not supporting good people, then you're buying up Netflix and all this other stuff and watching actors roll out allegory to you of where they want you to go for satanic enslavement. You know, there are two directions. Even if it's a kinder, gentler enslavement, that's Donald Trump, because he does want to conduct commerce on that internet. Okay, but he doesn't want genocide. See, that's positive. Those satanic enslavement people want genocide. They want up in your grill. They want everything, you know. And Team Diet Satan is just a little kinder, gentler version of that. So we need the third option. That's back to God. So bring this system back to God. Yeah. Back under God. And how to do that is we have to be careful when we do that, because it is a balance. You have to balance in the face of all of this, and your own consciousness can assist you to do that. And that's what these sessions are all about. What is it that you would like to know? Now, I can't guarantee you what's going to come out. I can just tell you it's going to be the truth, whatever it is. And it's, it will tell you the truth. So you need to be ready for it, because you may have been under the impression that everything you have been involved in is true. And if it's not, if you've been deceiving yourself, it's going to tell you that. Okay. So don't shoot the messenger, because there are people that get really upset. They don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes the truth can hurt, but all truth is good. There are some people that need to, they try to hurt people with the truth. And that's kind of a personal thing, but the truth itself is a good thing, because it helps you to navigate and build your foundation. So just get you a note card and list things that are important to you right now. And then guys, what I need from you is 2.5 minutes, and no, I won't analyze anything that's longer than 2.5 minutes. Okay. Because this is very hard work. It's difficult. That's why it's so expensive, because it takes a lot out of you. And, so right now, since I have another stream of I had to get another job, it's going to take probably at least a week at a time for me to get it back to you. Normally it's 3 days if that's all I'm doing. It's 3 business days. Okay. But you're going to have to give me 5 because I've had to get another job. So that's kind of the deal. But it is expensive. But once I start working on yours, then that's about how long. So give me a full, work week to get it back to you. And then
Can you give them pricing? Can you give them pricing to me?
Yeah, it's you sit for each 2.
I'll put a link in the chat here. But
yeah, because this is Kimberly's link. We have other links, but this is the one that we're promoting during this Q&A. Do y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
So you can click on it, and it will go and it will tell you all the information. You're going to have to sign a terms of service, and you're going to have to fill out a terms of service and release. Okay, because not everybody is sweet and nice. They're all, there are some people that try to take advantage and try to ruin it for everybody else. So we try to cover that in the terms of service and the release form. So I have to have that back from you, and I have to have your video recording. If you send me an audio recording, the validity factor will not probably be as high as if you send me a video, but I can do both. Okay. So just have that understanding. And then I wanted to show, since we're talking about the 2 different systems here. Okay. I had a lady who, she was very generous and shared her reverse speech with everybody. And it was very important. She didn't understand. She's a TI and she didn't even know it. She had certain spiritual experiences that she thought were spiritual, that she thought was God, and it was targeting. Even there are guys, they're so into everything. We've got stuff being reported. I just can't believe it. Reincarnation. There are fake. There are fake near-death experiences.
Wow.
That are coming through. There are I had the Ghost Inside My Child series. I was so mad when I did that. I looked at a reversal. I found a reversal saying that child was being bullied to take those beliefs on board and then report them to the public. So he believes all that, but it's fake, because they're bullying that child to take on board that belief system and that particular, this was your life and you're gonna accept this and report it to the public is what you're gonna do. And when you watch that particular one, it's the Titanic, that child was traumatized. totally traumatized by that experience. And then once he took it on board and said, yes, this is what happened, then he's relieved, and they move on because he has taken that on board as true and is reporting it to the public. And it's almost like he gave in to their bullying. And so now they're like, okay, we'll let you live your life now, at least for a while. And so I was really pissed. So all of the stuff that you see where kids are, you have kids that are having, and this happened to me too, the sleep paralysis, that happened to me, the night terrors, all of that appears to be coming from this effing grid. And they are literally, I've got John Kerry's reverse speech saying, if you're a whistleblower, we're going to smash you with our grid. He's calling it ours, but they paid for it with our tax money.
Yeah.
And he's saying they're going to, I mean, it literally is saying he's involved in the, basically in the government public-private partnership trafficking system, trafficking children. Okay. And so all I did is, without any interpretation, I put like 4 reversals on YouTube, and YouTube got rid of that video and said I was harassing John Kerry. So, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to share my screen, and if I can, and let's see, just to show you a particular, now you guys can go and look at this with me if you have another device, so that you can look, you know, at your own. Let's see, and I hope it shares the sound. I'm not sure it will. I probably won't play any of these just since it's a question answer, but we can try if y'all want to. But I just want to show you. So this is the reverse speech analysis I was talking about. I did it. I got it ready specifically for Thanksgiving because I'm thankful for this reverse speech that came through here. And I published it on November 1st, which is the birthday of my first husband, who was murdered by this cult. And guys, you're going to have there are going to be a lot of cases where you think that your loved ones died in a particular way, and you're going to find out they were slowly tortured and sickened and killed by this cult from this giant internet. So, you know, get ready for that. And I've said that before. Anyway, so I published this November 1st, 2024. And here's these, you won't recognize these because this was a long time ago, right? This little child had club feet. Now, my cousin is in the medical field, and she's like, well, you can see his club feet and that. And so she refused to have surgery and on him, and but she did go through the other treatments. And when you look this up on Google, it'll tell you, yeah, this can be healed by going through this braces and thus and so. But in her case, she was being taken for a ride by these people. It even says there is a particular lawyer. It says he's a lawyer, and he like, this is pay for play. I also want to talk about because I do this all the time. I go in 50 million different directions because there are so many, it's so vast, and I want to talk about so many things. So Trump and Elon Musk. I did the dark MAGA reverse speech. Remember when they threw Elon together with Trump for the first time in the same place where he got shot? I want to do the reverse speech on that. Alex Jones's reverse speech says it's a massive, it's the mother of all scams, that one. But I think there's going to be a tech aspect to it. I think there's more to it than people understand. But I just haven't had time to go do that because I've been trying to keep a roof over my head. So, anyway, but Elon Musk, before we get back to this, Elon Musk's reverse speech was bringing up, like I scaffolded it out. I'm like, well, with this is what I have from this. First of all, it says he loves betrayal, right? So whatever all they're saying on, like right now, I think Trump said, oh, we were just play acting, but I'm telling you what's coming through the reverse speech. So they can bullshit all they want. Elon Musk looks to be Team Satan. Donald Trump looks to be Team Diet Satan. He does not want genocide, but he does appear to want to make money on it. But he's compromised, and he's compromised for some very bad people. Okay, so that's kind of the situation, regardless of the stuff they're doing for the public. Okay, and Elon Musk appears to be involved in the non-consensual testing and paying in some way, connected to paying the network, the Stasi network. Not all of them, but in some way, he's going to be connected to paying for the Stasi network that's rolling it out.
What about Palantir? Like his buddy?
I haven't done Peter Thiel, and I haven't done JD Vance or any of that, but I do want to bring something up. Brendan O'Connor has a lot of good information, and y'all need to go check out what he's for some reason and I don't know why. For some reason, he is under the impression that Peter Thiel and Palantir are more of a distraction. Like they're probably up and involved in all of this stuff, but I think what he might be saying, it is so vast that you need to look at the whole picture instead of just focusing on Peter Thiel and Palantir.
Yeah.
And he just did a video that's really good. Brendan O'Connell, I feel so bad. The U.S. needs to let him in here. And he has been through a lot, and he's done so much, and he's been totally shunned by everybody. But he's all of the like platforms and things like they do to TIs. But I would go check out his YouTube channel, Brendan O'Connell. So it's BRENDON and then O''CONNELL. It's just that's the name of his. Anyway, so okay, so hopefully that's all covered.
Have you done any Patel work?
On Cash Patel?
Yeah.
No, but I there are so many that I'm interested in doing, and his is one of them, especially where he's talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they're, now I always have a hypothesis, or sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just don't really care. But sometimes I'll have a hypothesis. But what I am interested in, the only horse that I have in the race is the truth. I cannot make choices and decisions based on anything but the truth. I need the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's what I need. So I may have an idea of what it might be, but that goes right out the window as soon as I find out what is being said in reverse speech, and search, ponder, and pray. And this system really has helped me to stand in the face of all of this crap that I've been through. It was a lifeline. It was definitely like a, what you wear when you're in the water. What is that thing called? Your life jacket. It feels like a life jacket to me. It feels like a seatbelt, a life jacket, a beautiful tool. So, so anyway, this lady went through all of this. She did have a what she believed was a near-death experience, and it came across as all targeting. They hit her hard enough to send her to the ER. And then the ER that she got sent to, they gaslit the shit out of her. It was unbelievable. So, so she, and all of the stuff that she thought was positive, and it turned out that was all targeting and manipulation, except for her son that had the club feet. When she described the healing that took place with that child, it came across as totally natural and written in by God. Like God just came in and healed that child, and it's described in that way. And it's the way that it's described. So you don't have a bunch of tech being described. It's described as like that child appeared to be being attacked in some way, like there was something that was removed like a beam, or I don't know what it was. Something was removed in order for that child to be able to properly heal. And so it was absolutely amazing. But that, and when you look, so it's very unassuming, but when you understand what it means, and you guys should really go through this whole thing. It's blog.ourstillsmallvoice.com, and then go to the November 2024 one. And it's what's the name of it? Let me see. I named it right. It was published November 1st, 2024. My first husband's birthday. The Adversary, God, and a Miracle, reverse speech analysis. Okay. So, and this is about Kathy Payne Randolph. So, and where it talks about her son is toward the end. So we go through all of the targeting reverse speech that she has, and it's describing, I mean, she even had that. It appears to be, oh, and the Elon Musk, this is going to go for here. Sabrina Wallace, the stuff that she's covering is aligning with what I'm finding.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I didn't tell about Elon and Trump. Elon Musk's dark MAGA reverse speech aligns with her fear and fire. Is it fear and fire? Let me see. I'm hearing something. Is everybody muted except for when they're talking?
Let me go check.
Let's see. Is this it? Well, let me see. Dark MAGA, because I wanna tell you guys, right? She did 4 videos on it, and I was like, that's what he's talking about. So see, I will be able to do a scaffold, because when I did that Dark MAGA, I said, well, he loves betrayal, and he's talking about inferno. He's talking about fire. He's talking about stuff like that. And I was like, well, here's what he's bringing up, and here's what that likely means. And so sometimes when you get this scaffold of meaning, you'll have to wait and to figure out what it means, because eventually it will pop up and make a bridge with whatever it's talking about, and you'll recognize it and go, oh. And sometimes it's going to be even on more than one level. You'll go, oh my gosh, that's what that was. And that's the same kind of thing that happened when I called out the New Jersey drone nonsense 4 years before it happened. So it was Steve, what's his name? Dr. Greer. They were at this, his CE5 contact ritual is coming up as very dark. ETs are coming up as dark. Like, I've been waved off of ETs altogether, and so has David Wilcox reverse speech, has waved him off of them. If you're messing in that, I'm telling you, there's nothing positive there, because that's the way it's coming up in reverse speech. So if you're messing with that, you can take that apart, and I've looked into that, and I don't see anything positive there. It's all eugenic, disgusting, transhuman BS. But the scaffolding, I'll give you a scaffolding, and you'll eventually figure out, oh my gosh, it's a match. It's a match for this. So there, let's see, the drone thing, they were saying they were looking up in the sky, because they were looking at, I think it was ESETI. No. They were at Joshua Tree. And there are things that are going across the sky the same as ESETI, and they look like little slow moving meteors is what they look like. But the reverse speech there was one little part where she said, scare New Jersey. So while looking into the sky, there was stuff in the sky they were looking at, and she said, scare New Jersey. That was a match for the New Jersey drone thing, where what they were trying to do is they were trying to normalize their drone project, because that's going to be your new forced AI precision healthcare and weaponization. If you don't do what we tell you to, we're going to weaponize you, and we're going to start torturing you with the same tech that we're healing you with, that you're paying for, you see? So that was the New Jersey drones Scare New Jersey thing. And I got that 4 years ahead of time. So people need to look. I've been trying to save our RS proofs. When I come across one, I'll go, yeah, that matches. Let me go stick it over on. And I don't have all of them. But if you go to our Truth Social, I only put our reverse speech truth proofs on there. So, so our Truth Social, if you want to go have a look at them, ours is, it doesn't recognize me on there. Where's my phone? I think it's a Truth Social, and ours is over there. It's at Our Still Small Voice still. Okay. So you can go take a look at those on our Truth Social, our reverse speech proofs. And then let's take a look at the bottom here so we can look at her son's. She described it as his feet started glowing red. See, here's that lawyer one. Can y'all see this? So she's talking about she thought she was dying, and it sent her to the ER, and it's talking about a lawyer having fun getting her to submit to him in an lie, an electronic lie. See? Ugh, awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, it's evil. It's just pure evil. You know, you're just unveiling it in a different.
And just like Sabrina Wallace says, it's pay for play. He probably paid a great deal of money to do that to her.
Yep.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Right here, she says his feet, like they looked like they were glowing red. So he was asleep, and his feet started glowing red, and she had some people there, and they were in prayer together over him. And his feet started glowing red, and they got so hot that she was getting scared, and she was about to call 911. He was being healed. So so it says, and your well growth, the all quill knit, he house Eve, right here. So let's tell me if you can hear this.
His feet, like they look like they were glowing red.
You could hear her?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so she says, and your well growth, the all quill knit, he house Eve.
And your well growth, y'all Eve. And your well growth, y'all Eve. And your well growth, y'all Eve.
Okay, this is, and your well groweth, and your well groweth, the all quill knit, he house Eve. So connected to Kathy's son's feet looking like they were glowing red is growing wellness that was being written by the all quill knit where God houses Eve. So this indicates the all, or God, who used his quill knit, in other words, God's pen, to write this into being via the creative force represented by the Eve metaphor for the perfect woman. So this creative force may be connected to the mind, since house is a metaphor for the mind in our reverse speech. So it appears to say that this healing was written into being from the mind of God via his creative force. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I love it.
And I was so thankful to find that, because there is so much fuckery going on, pardon my French. People, they give you, they say, well, is he lying? Is he lying? Is he lying? And they give you all these criminals to do reverse speech on, and yeah, they're doing awful, evil crap. So it comes through in the reverse speech.
Yeah.
So it's so wonderful when I have some material like this to look at, and the inspiration that it brings is absolutely amazing. So you, through this reversal, you can see God. I mean, and it does, like, there was a reversal from Juliette Lewis where she was like jamming on her stereo, And I can't find this one anywhere now. You can find other ones, but the one where I found the reversal, gone. I cannot find the forward anywhere of it. If you can find a copy of that, holler. But she's going, God, why is Satan controlling the universe, while she's in her car jamming out to her rock music? Okay. And the reversal there basically said, in response to your search, God created the universe, but you are giving God the energy of suffering. So see, it's indicating that they are, see, God knows who he is, and he gave everybody free will. So if you are messing around in that nutball cult and worshiping an AI by practicing money from suffering and SRA, leveling up, satanic ritual abuse, then you're trying to give, because that AI that you're running across, God gave you the free will to choose what you want. And what are you using it for? You're running after a fake God, and you're saying that you're giving God the energy of suffering. That was Juliette Lewis's. And I have hers is actually at the end of this. I have that in here. See this, if you go to this specific one that I did in November, and then scroll through and find this right here, this video, God or targeting weapon. And go to that one toward the end. Now, can you see this?
Yes.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Did you hear me say hi, guys? On there. Okay. Oh, good. That's fabulous. So let me show you this. I'll play you this one. Come on. Got to move stuff around. Just one moment. Oh, please. Okay, right here. So she says, God, why is Satan controlling the universe? Now, see right here, trolling the universe. Trolling means a search. It can also mean how Donald Trump trolls, but right here, the meaning trolling the universe. So the reversal that I found was found right there. So I put brackets around right where the reversal was found. And the reason that I do that is not only to follow David Oates's protocols, how I was taught. He's my teacher and he discovered it, right? The method and all that. So, but we're supposed to put brackets around right where we found the reversal, and your reverse speech will be commenting truthfully on the forward. So what is the forward? Trolling the universe. What about trolling the universe? 7, I give you loosh.
Tiffany, I don't know if anybody else is having this, but I'm still seeing the image of the planes, God or targeting weapon in the video.
Oh, shoot. Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare then. Ooh, that's going to be interesting to try to do. Let me see. Okay, hang on. Okay. Yeah, I have to go back to share screen. I want to share this one now. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
All right. You're
Thank you.
going to have to tell me if you can hear it, though, because I didn't push any buttons for being able to hear it. So let's see.
Loosh. Okay, well, 7 is God's number.
7 is God's number. Did you hear that?
Yes,
we
you can hear it.
Oh, very good. All right. Let me play that.
So it was very interesting reverse speech. But the question is to ask God why Satan controls the universe. So her RS answers, and I found it where it says trolling the universe. Well, trolling is a careful and systematic search. That's what trolling is. So Lewis's RS is telling her in response to her search that God, not man, otherwise it would be 6, not 7, controls the universe. And Lewis appears to believe she needs to give God the energy of suffering. Okay,
That's
so
the problem
that's
right there.
free will kicking in if you want to be an idiot. And do those things are harmful to you and everybody else. Anyway, so I said perhaps Lewis should find out if God requires that and give others a break from this ridiculous, harmful belief system that we are all suffering under. Okay, so I'll play this for you and then I really will go this time. Have a good
So I
rest of
couldn't
your
believe several
weekend
times in that interview that
and a good
video.
week ahead. I will be on the Goldfish. Play this for y'all, and then in being able, clearly they're not getting it right. That, God made within us. So, let's get on it. Okay, so 7, I give you Loosh.
God, why is Satan controlling the universe? 7, I give you Loosh. 7, I give you Loosh. 7, I give you Loosh.
Okay, and Loosh is the energy of suffering, squeezing out the energy of suffering. So, and that's involved in those money from suffering, scams that they run. Okay. Now,
Was that from Natural Born Killers? Wasn't she in that movie, Natural Born Killers? Or am I thinking of someone else?
she was in that movie, but I think she was just messing around in her car and posting stuff to her Twitter. That
Okay.
could have been in there, but I don't think that was part of Natural Born Killers. I think she
Okay.
was just playing the radio and messing around in her.
Her vehicle. Okay.
Yeah. So let me start presenting. Okay. What other questions do you guys have?
I don't know. I'm going to send you some reverse speech. So, have you heard of the form SF95 for targeted individuals to get compensation for the targeting program?
I have not.
Okay. So I think you have to become a living woman or a living man. And you know what that means.
Adjust your status. And
adjust your status. Yep. To become an American state citizen. And then once you become an American state citizen, you can fill out this FSF95 form where you can tell them a dollar amount for your targeting. And I just sent that in via certified mail. I'm going to tell you this guy that was on TikTok, he was an African-American man. And let me see if I can find the website that I went to, because it was quite interesting. Because I'm like, like that makes sense that we should be able to get compensation for our targeting since we're basically tortured individuals, right?
Right.
And so the dollar amount that I put wasn't like a small dollar amount. It was it was quite a large dollar amount, okay? Because I plan to help other people go through this process. So it's called Help Solutions.
Well, they're taking it right out of your body. I mean,
Yeah.
God made for
Yeah.
you to use, not
Yeah,
them.
that's correct.
It needs to be really high.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's called Help Solutions Tech. And so I think that they help people become a living man and living woman. I went a different route for becoming an American state citizen. And but I did look up the SF95 form, which you can get it when you search it, it'll come up on the government website. And
it does bring up the birth certificate.
Okay.
And correcting it in some way. It hasn't said correct your status, but it did bring up so I don't know what else is connected to that because there are so many scams, but yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. If they're not, are you being able to sleep still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they pretty much left me alone once my documents got recorded. But it's such a process. It's going to take people, especially targeted individuals, a little bit longer to complete because they try to distract you at every turn. Like they'll, interfere with you any way that they can electronically and otherwise to prevent you from claiming your birthright. So that's why I want to do this podcast series of the steps that I took, how much it cost me, and what the best websites that I've come across.
Well, it's definitely bringing up birth certificates.
Okay.
So that means we need to, yeah. And we need more input. We need to pay attention to that because it's coming up in reverse speech. I did find that.
Okay.
But what are
There's
the
a couple of questions in the chat, Tiffany. Someone asked, Merle asked, I recorded my own speech, want to know if there's a good microphone to use to get the reverse speech from it. I figured out most of the words, but wanted to confirm it. There's a good microphone to be better able to hear the reverse speech.
Just as long as it's very clear. And you guys, like, when you go, what do those people use on the ASMR videos? Find out what they're using, because their stuff is coming through crystal clear. It needs to be clear. But again, I would prefer a video so that I can match if there's a higher validity factor in video versus audio because I have more data points. I match your lip movement with the sound. So it's going to be a higher validity factor when you send me a video. But like I said, I can do both. I don't have a recommendation for a microphone. I would go find out what those ASMR people are using. Do you know who I'm talking about? Go on YouTube and click. Let's see. Some of them are really funny. These have to do with, let's see.
So they want to know if you offer any courses for beginners.
I did have, like, I had a $25 a month for 2 hours a month where I just would go in and answer questions, and I would show you how to use the software and show you, give you all the information you needed to go and buy the software, just the sound, just the audio. But there's a video one as well. I prefer that one. So I have an instructional video that you will have access to but I stopped doing those because we only had one customer. So if there is interest in doing that, and we have, a nice group of people who are really ready to, dive into this, it's so important, then I will make time to do 2 hours a month. Again, for $25 a month, and I'll go back because it's still up there on our site, and we can start it up again if there's enough people to make it worth my while, where I don't have to do this a second job, and I can spend my time and energy on that, because I only have so much time and energy every day.
Yep.
And if there's enough interest, and then I can do that, and if there's not, I can't. So. So talk to people and let them, let them know and tell them and introduce them to the information and the work, and say, are you interested? Because see, really what we need to be doing is if everybody did this on the planet, this planet would be a changed system going back to God. If everybody can look into their own record of creation and talk about it and discuss it. And you're going to have people, like I ran into a woman that I had to block on Facebook because she was just, there's something wrong with her. She thought she was married to, what is his name? The UFO guy that was killed, and that black goo came out of his mouth when in Poland, he died. What is his name? I forget. Anyway, she thought she was married to him. He didn't even know her, and he was dead. Apparently he's dead. And I did a reverse speech analysis on him too. And anyway, he was really into some weird stuff, but he looks to have been murdered in Poland, and she thought she was married to him after he was dead. And
Max Spires.
That's it. Yes.
Spears.
Yes. And so she thought she was married to Max Spears, and she had not one day of reverse speech training, and she claimed that she was interpreting all of this reverse speech. And so I went in there and listened, and I was like, that's not what that's saying at all. And so she was just pulling stuff out of her. She was feeding her fantasies with it. And people were listening to her. I was like, I just don't know what to do with y'all. I don't know what, I can't even spend time and energy on this. So I had to block her. But I specifically told her why and did it on her Facebook page so that, you know, they could see I'm not going along with this.
Yeah.
You guys can go and feed yourself with fantasies if you like, but that's not going to get you anywhere. I don't like fantasy, you know. So I had to let her go. So if you're interested in truth and being able to, you know, sometimes the truth hurts, but all of it, the truth I equate to God, and being able to build our system back and move it back to Him. He's given us free will. You know, I have found
we need to use it though. He's given us free will.
Yeah, He has. But there is apparently a fail safe here. Now you can, I mean, like you can kill everything off and do like this is He created this for us, and we're supposed to be properly taking our place to be proper caretakers. Well, we've abdicated because we didn't know, but it's time for us to know. So if you've been indoctrinated, everybody's indoctrinated when they're born on this planet. But when you're grown, it's your responsibility to find the truth so that we can all work together and move this system back where it's supposed to go. Now, I suggest we all do that, you know, or die trying. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't know what you're doing, but that is what I am doing. So, yeah. So, we have to make sure that we're supporting these businesses that make a difference. And we have, you know, when you're on this planet, we do have to trade because not everybody has every skill set they need in order to get where we need to go. So we have to cooperate. And we've just, to me, I'm like, you know, when I was young, I was like, so there's no really, there's the Bible, but there are problems, you know, with all of these texts. I'm like, where is our instruction manual? We were not born with an instruction manual. Where is the manual that says this is all true and this is not? This is what you're supposed to be doing, you know, and instead we get indoctrination. Well, and literally while I'm sitting there saying that, I'm telling the truth about it in my reverse speech. It came, the instruction manual came with our voice from God, and your voice came from God and your consciousness. So, you know, we just have to, and some people are like, I can't, you know, and I'm right there with you because I was being tortured to death. Literally, it was so bad in late May of 2015, and they murdered my dad 3 months later. I was being raped like nonstop 24/7 almost for a year with these directed energy weapons. Yeah. And I was in the emergency room with my dad, and they started doing that to him. And I mean, it was so bad. He started saying, my butt hurts. What is that? You know, and I was like, I knew they were doing that to him with the directed energy weapons, and I didn't know how to stop it. It was the most evil, disgusting shit I have ever experienced in this life. Yeah. And I don't want to have anybody have to go through that kind of thing. And they're attacking our children. The stuff that has been found on Corey Good, yeah, he's got self-deception. He's got liars all around him. He's up in that New Cage movement. But he was MK'd as a child. And we're not glossing over that. According to his reverse speech, they did MK him. So, you know, I can't gloss over that. They're attacking our children through their sleep and you know, they're into everything with this ridiculous grid. So, you know, we've got to learn the truth so that we can properly navigate. And people are saying, well, just use your discernment and you know, your intuition.
No.
Just remember, well, this is a tool to help you to make sure that you're on track with that so you don't get off into fantasy land like that nutball woman who thinks she's married to Max Spears, who's dead. You know what I mean? So we have to keep ourselves in check. So you use your intuition, but you need to check and make sure you're on the right track. because we do have that. And once you start uncovering and delving into reverse speech so much, you're going to have a good knowledge base. Like, for instance, when you're learning a new computer system, a new computer software, there is a systematic way that it works. And it may be really foreign to you when you first start learning it, but once you get the hang of it, it's easy. You got it down and you're moving through. And that's the way reverse speech is. It's a lot easier it's always slow and laborious, but it's easier to understand and it's easier to interpret. So that when you first look at it, I mean, it's like a foreign language. It's like learning a foreign language. But the rewards that come with it, I have people that are saying, well, it's too slow. And I'm like, you are as old as you are. And in a year, you're going to be a year older, and 2 years down the road, you're going to be 2 years older. What are you going to do with that time in between? You got to do something. You might as well put it to good use and learn proper skills that are going to assist you and that you can pass down to your children that can then assist them, because you're not going to be here forever. I'm just like, I need for this to get out. It's and here it sits, and it has been right. This whole time it's been right. And it attracted a lot of attention too, because on Twitter, like, I didn't think anybody was listening to me on Twitter, but I was just on there and I was having the crap tortured out of me. So I was like, I am going to vent. So you can like it or lump it, kind of thing. And I was just putting my findings on there. And I said, we do not hook creation. We do not hook humanity with or without a wire to an internet. And when I started saying that over and over, that is when the current, back then in 2019, August of 2019, that is when Alexander Titus was the current biotech head for DOD. Well, I didn't even know that synthetic biology existed, and I didn't even know that DOD had a biotech head. I would have to say, okay, what is a biotech head? What do they do?
Yeah. Well, most of us don't, that have like normal thought processes and
well,
not.
He followed and blocked me when I was saying that. Is around the time when I was like thinking about it and going, when did he block me? And it was when I was saying that. So I wasn't supposed to know that. Nobody was supposed to know that they were hooking us without our knowledge or consent with our own tax money to a giant internet.
Yeah.
And he was trying to silence me and menace me, but he couldn't say anything. But he sure did unzip his fly. So he followed me one day and then blocked me the next. And I was like, what on earth? So I looked at the reverse speech on that, and it said that was a rape it notice. So he's raping you in some way, and he's giving you a notice that he is raping you in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did that answer the question? I hope that helped. But let me see I can't even remember what I called those. It's on our high page, those particular once a month. Let's see, what did I call it? Oh, see, I think I may have. Oh, no. So creating congruent consciousness, web sharing. I think it's sharing, reverse speech sharing is what I called it. But if there's an interest in getting together for $25 a month, recurring, then we can just go and it's group led. So the group will be the one that decides what we work on. And then, so what I do in those sessions is I say, well, what do y'all want to work on? And then in the next month, you can show me, here's what I found, and I'll tell you what I think, and I'll give you pointers, and we'll learn how to use the software. And then once you get really good, I just highly recommend that we bring our children into this at some point. So I didn't learn this stuff until I was older, right? But if we start when they're young, then they can really be doing some good by the time, the ones who are really good at it can start trading for services and become reverse speech analysis. And it's like anything else, like that crazy woman on Facebook that I had to block. That's not who you want as your reverse speech analyst and your person who's, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like when you're reading the Bible and interpreting the Bible, you have people that are, that you prefer as people who are translating it and interpreting it. And you have people that are just absolutely worthless, like ice trays in hell. That person is absolutely useless at telling you anything, getting any meaning from the Bible at all, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing applies for reverse speech people. You have to find people who have a good record, and that's why I'm saying go check mine out, because all the other social media, stuff gets buried. But I have set aside Truth Social for reverse speech proofs that have just, like the biggest one. Well, but Joe Biden's is coming up too. Joe Biden, the day before he was elected, the 2020, he was installed by Israel, is what he was.
Correct. That's
The
correct.
2020, the reverse speech that I've gotten both off Nancy Pelosi said 6 months before the election, I looked at her reverse speech and it said, "We're going to cheat." And then after the election, she said, "We're lying about who won." So that's very clear that the 2020 was a stolen election. But a day before the election, I pulled out and posted reverse speech from Biden saying that he's going to be connected to pedophilia. He's going to walk onto something important, such as being installed in the office of POTUS, and that he was going to be crushed in excrement in some way. And that's happening now. He's becoming diseased. He's got targeting reverse speech. He's also described in Chanel, their whole family line is being described by Chanel Rion's reverse speech when she was talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and Natalie Biden being found on it. She's saying in her reverse speech, she said, "Mom meal may fee is Luciborg." So it involves a fee and meal system connected through the matrilineal line in some way, connected to Luciferian cyborgs. That's going to be their family line. And, and that was interesting because remember that weird, what was it called with Keith? What's his name? That weird sex cult that started with a V, I think. Had that one lady in it that was in the cast of Superman. That weird cult. Anyway, he asked, one of the things that they found when they searched his documents is there a cure for Luciferianism? Those are some of the things that we can ask in reverse speech and find out that, when you do damage to a body or whatever, you can heal it and mitigate to a certain extent, but some things are just not going to heal. But we can find out the best ways to go about that and the better do's and don'ts. Like I just found, like Dr. Artis, this is a project that I'm interested in doing. Dr. Artis just said nicotine is it's going to cure all of this stuff. And then of course you look on the internet and AI says it doesn't cure anything. Now, I don't have a predetermined, I don't care what's true. I just want to find out what is true about that. So apparently they're claiming we have a nicotine, some sort of receptor system. Same thing with cannabis. Now, with cannabis, a reverse speech talks positively about it, but it also embraces benevolent balance. So you don't want to
in moderation.
Yeah, if you're hanging out with a fatty 24/7, you're not gonna, you're smoking your life away, and it's probably not going to speak positively about that. But it does, in general terms, speak positively about cannabis.
Yeah.
But then it'll tell you too, if they're messing with that cannabis and you can't get a hold of natural,
Yeah.
they're putting all their crap in it, that's going to
Yeah.
be a sticking point too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would love to get those sessions started back up, because I'm like, how are we going to get this out to everybody? There has to be an interest first. And so see, those guys are doing dark marketing. They're the snake oil salesman, and it's coming up that way. It's bringing up their dark ad campaigns. So Erica, you guys have an opportunity to counter that. I'm not a marketing genius. I didn't take that in college, but so we need counters. And I have a reversal where this dark programmer broke into my cousins and my cell phone conversation. You can hear him on there. And I tagged when that happened. I'm like, is that guy an idiot? Does he not know what I do? So I was recording already. I had my cousin's permission. And I was like, did you just hear that? And he like, I kept hearing things in the conversation. I'm like, what on earth is that? And so I went back and I played it, and they had broken into our cell phone conversation. We had 3 that I could hear. 2 of them appeared to be perps, and there was one EVP that appeared to possibly be coming from the AI that they attached to me. Possibly. That thing was right with me. Everything that I said, I didn't even hear that one until I went back in. I was like, this is an EVP. And it was repeating what I was saying, and it was congruent both forward and backward. In other words, I said, we need to round these people up. And it was like, yeah, catch them in the net. That thing, it was like, which was interesting. So I don't know what else to say about that, but it's there, and that RSA is there on our blog that you can look at, that gang stalking RSA. Anyway, there was one of them, there was a dark programmer in there that sang out, grow ID. So they were dropping in MK Ultra programming.
Yes.
Yes. They wanted me to take, so when I flipped it and I looked at that right there, he said, seek our orb. Orb means programming. They wanted me to take on board their programming of identity assault and to be able to program these personalities and things. And I just wasn't having any of that. So, I mean, they were having a difficult time. He said, and I was like, oh, that's good. That's fabulous. But, when it comes to that kind of stuff, how do I mean, except for reverse speech, you could go do these, these analyses, but they have all your files. They have all the documentation. Here's what we tried. Here's what we were able to get away with. And here's where we are, but they were, what they were saying in the reverse speech was they were having trouble programming me. Well, the reason they were having problems programming me is because I'm very stubborn, and because I had found reverse speech already, and so I am able to deprogram. And so the whole thing is, there are dark programmers, but there are also the opposite of that. So we need to be, and I'm kind of the opposite of that, because I go in with your reverse speech and it will tell you what programming is unhealthy in there too. And there's a whole thing on the practitioner side of reverse speech where it's a therapy. And it's amazing because it's described it in past clients that I've had. It describes this as, okay, we're looking through your programming, and it's like, yeah, and it brings up unhealthy programming. And sometimes there's so much you can't address it all in one session. You have to, do more than one. It's very expensive. So, if you can find a benefactor to help you, pay for these, that would be fabulous. And if I had a benefactor, maybe I could do it for everybody for free, but we'll have to do what we can do. But anyway, so that helps you, and to on the therapy side, it helps you to address and heal unhealthy programming that you've taken on board, or that someone has surreptitiously programmed in that you don't know about, that may be in there. So
Tiffany, I'd just like to ask the people that are on a question. If anybody is interested in, I just want to take a poll. If anybody would be interested in doing the monthly thing for like 25, just put 25 in the chat. Just put the number 25 in the chat, just so I get a sense for how many people might be interested in that. And then if anybody on here has not seen like Tiffany's interview in the summit, put no in the chat, because I'd like to see how many people haven't seen her interview from the summit who may not really understand a lot about what the reverse speech is, why it's important, how it can help you. Okay, so 2, Erica.
oh, also, our one customer loved our $25 a month thing so much that she wanted to do it twice a month. And so for a while we went every 2 weeks, and she was paying $50 a month. So if you're interested in $50 a month and doing it twice a month, 2 hours each time, then let us know. And that can be arranged again, but we had to take all that out when she lost her rich boyfriend. So,
I think they pick the strongest people to target first, because they want to silence us and take us out and not want us to be able to do like your talent and doing the reverse speech, and mine just being like, you unleashed this woman, because I'll never be the same ever. And I'm also stubborn. And so I think in one aspect, we were probably chosen for a reason to be leaders in this movement. Does that make sense?
oh yeah. Yeah. I think many are called and few are chosen, but it's always a choice, you know? So whether you're going to stand up or not, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, chosen is a very touchy subject with me, because like my dad, they murdered my dad, and those, we have the part of my DNA is going to come from that, likely come from that cult. I want to tell right now, I have never done a DNA test. I have never done a PCR test. And I have never had, my last vaccine was 2006. Okay, when I started learning that there's a problem here, Houston, we have a problem here. So just want to say that publicly. So, you know, I know they have my DNA, and so they're going to have they're going to have to explain how they got it at some point, and all that, because I've never had any of that done.
Yep.
But I know lost my point. I'm getting scattered now. I think I'm getting tired, but it had something to do with what you were talking about.
Yeah. So I think they like picked us for a reason, because
the chosen one. That's
and stubborn, and yeah.
That's being the chosen thing is being exploited by negatives, like bad people. They're like, oh, but you're so special and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All of us have that potential. It just is. It's the point is who's going to stand up. You know, and
because I would like a whole lot more people to stand up. Like, I'm not the only one. I just knew I wasn't the only one that was being targeted.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, you know, I am not the only person on the planet that can do reverse speech. Everybody needs to be looking at this stuff and doing it to the point that they are able, you know, and then passing it down to their kids. This is something that could so greatly change this planet. Knowing the truth and being able to compare it with other people. So if you're getting your news from reverse speech and then looking out and seeing what is aligning and what's not aligning with it, that's what needs to be happening.
Yeah.
It's, you know, clearly we need to be using these tools with our discernment. Now every single person that wants to lie to themselves and lie to others for money is going to be fearful of this process and the truth because they don't really want the truth. Have you ever known those kind of people? You start talking about something true and they get uncomfortable. You know, they start clutching their pearls and moving in their seat and moving them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I am a big a person where you go to where people are most comfortable because that's not going to get you anywhere. When they start going like that, all you're going to do is scare them and piss them off, and they're going to just think that you're weird. So you have to deal with people at the level they're on.
Yeah,
But
I agree with that. That's a great statement.
Do not come into a $25 group if you can't handle the truth. Okay, so let's go back to that movie. If you can't handle the truth, don't show up. We don't want you there if you can't handle the truth.
Yeah. I love it.
The truth to me, even when it's hard and ugly and everything, it's a starting point for you to drive out of there.
Yep.
And go where you want to go instead then. You know?
Free will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was the orb. Okay, so when the lady, she was missing her parents, and she wanted to know if her mom was giving her a shout out, and I said it went two different directions in that. It said, your mom is with the Savior, is what it said. But those orbs, okay, it's not speaking positive about. So the UFOs and orbs, when it comes up in reverse speech, is talking about programming. But she, in her forward speech, was talking about orbs. So she was talking about, like when I did go to ECETI once, like twice, and I did see those orbs, and they have been on film and on camera, and I haven't in reverse speech was not speaking positively about those. So it was dividing what it was commenting on there. It's like, your mom is with the Savior. That should make you feel good. She's safe. She's with the Savior. But don't mess with those orbs, because those are going to be a type. Likely, it was indicating that they are something that's not positive. In other words, they're likely to be one of these transhuman technologies that's trying to coerce you and lie to you and deceive you into an improper direction. It sounded a lot like ETs and all the other kinds of things that they sell you in order to get you off track. So, and guys, they can do it on either side. This is you're balancing in the middle, but what they are doing is they can get on the religious side, spiritual side, and try to act pious and be just as evil as you can be. Like, there are trafficking cartels through the churches, and in Mormon also, there's Mormon mafia showing up. Dallin Oaks, I'm calling that guy out. It specifically said Oaks and in the office, and it was bringing up Mormonism in that King Soopers mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado, because Boulder, Colorado just came up again. Anyway, so I'm calling him out. And I keep trying to tell, because I'm kind of unique in that way, because it's almost like God is bringing people that are from these lines to try and help correct them, because my dad was murdered by these people, and by their Zionist rules, he would be Jewish, right? And then he joined the Mormon church, and my family are Mormon, right? I was baptized into that church when I was 8, but I have always been inactive, and now I'm fine. It's totally infiltrated at the top. So is Catholic. So all of these churches have been infiltrated by this public-private partnership, money from suffering partnership. Yeah. And I'm able to, it seems like I'm able to recognize that stuff better because I was raised how I was raised, and the exposures that I've had. Because if you're not in any of that stuff, you're not going to recognize it. You're not going to know what they're talking about. So So anyway, so yeah, the Mormon church, and I think people pretty much know that, but the flock is being misled. So these good people are being misled. And good people that are being misled can be very dangerous. You know, there were very good people that took part in that have taken part in some really disgusting stuff where they literally become the enemy. So we want to make sure that everybody, you know, that we're trying to educate as best we can. And all I can say is, I keep telling people, I'm like, look, you've been given free will, and at some point you will be dead. I mean, it's just, you know, you're going to die someday.
Yeah.
And if you're in with this group that is considering death a problem and are trying to solve the problem of death, I'm like, you're going to wish you were dead. If God grants you that, you're going to wish every day that you were dead if you go down that path. I'm telling you. But so I'm just, while we're here, our time is short and we need to try to do the best that we can. And the way that we navigate is very important. And this is such an important tool to latch onto and to pass down to your kids properly without all the fantasy, you know, and to be really navigating in truth. So, and like I said, I'm 55 years old and I'm willing to help people as much as I can, you know, until God's ready to take me home. And I really would love to get this out. And because once it starts propagating out and people realize how powerful it is, you're not going to be able to stop it. But they have to be there. We're up against the entertainment industry and all of these, you know, celebrity mouthpieces.
Yeah. Yep.
They're trafficking mouthpieces. That's what they are.
Yep.
And,
Hey, Tiffany, we got another question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to
Oh,
make sure
sure.
we
I'm
touch on
sorry.
this since
Yeah.
we're going over. No, it's fine. And maybe you already touched on this. I apologize. Craig is asking, is reverse speech common in music?
Oh yeah, I did a show where I go over that stuff. When you it's thousands of dollars to get certified for your analyst and practitioner. They're two different and they take about 6 months a piece. But and David he loves rigor. He'll put you through your paces on those. But one of the assignments that you do is music. And so there are two types. There are the ones that are artificial. So basically it's a gimmick that the recording companies use. They'll put forward music. They'll put forward, but they'll put it in reverse. So it's forward and it's so crystal clear. You can tell it's a fake reversal. I mean, it's fake because it's so clear. Reversals are a little bit murky because they're coming through a different part of your consciousness. So they're a little muddy. And so, yeah, so there are fake ones that record companies use, and then there are genuine ones. And let me see. Let me show you where that one was. I'm going to show you where that interview is. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Am I sharing now?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sharing the wrong thing though. Crap hammers. Okay, hang on. Let me share the right thing. This one. Share. Okay, I guess I have to go over here. All right. Can you see my blog? So you want to go to get all of the current ones, you want to go on my blog, blog.ourstillsmallvoice.com.
File. Okay, so I'll play this and then I'll let you guys go.
Sorry.
I don't want to get up. I hurt so bad. Just let me.
Okay, hang on. Sorry. I'm being spastic. Okay, let me try this again.
So there's a lot of Freemasons that do music where they put the reverse speech in their Masonic Luciferian agenda.
Can you see that now?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to show you where you can get more information, where you can see those examples
Okay.
and get more detailed. So we're going to go to the very first one. So the last one that I did was February. So you want to go to the very last one that I did, the current page. So you go to the current page and then scroll past the reverse speech analysis. So I'm going to click on it to go into that page. So that's the last one I did, is the AI hijacking of Earth. And that's the one I covered with Kimberly. That's in the VIP section for the Radical Truths Summit. And then what you're going to do is go to the first page and scroll all the way past the reverse speech analysis that I did. And you'll know you're there when you see this right here. Thank you for your support for increasing congruence on the planet by listening to our still small voice through our reverse speech, right? The more congruence, the less darkness.
Yep.
All right, so that's where you start, and you scroll down and you'll start seeing my interviews. So here was my interview with the Goldfish Report. This is the very first one I did with them, and this is the one that you will click on to go watch to see those examples in music. I think I do 2 examples.
Why?
I just muted her.
Okay. So this is the one, 104. It's the very first one listed, June 23, 2017. That's the very first one I did. And you're going to see her co-host, Steve, who has since passed. He was so precious. But in that interview, but I answer that question in that interview, and I give examples both ways of fake ones and real ones. But yeah, the musical ones are very, very not. And they're in I cover one from Player, Baby Come Back. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
There's some very interesting reversals in that one.
Really?
Yeah. So you'll have to go watch that interview, and you can get more information on that. But that's the basics of it. So but most of my interviews are listed underneath the first page of our blog, and you can just start listening to all the interviews if you want.
Okay.
That specific one, the first one listed, is where you will come across the ones on music. But there are fake ones that music industries use to like Easter eggs to sell more music, for you to go in and find them. And those are going to be fake. And then the rest of them are going to be real. And people ask me, they say, Tiffany, but if you read a script or if you sing a song, aren't they all going to be the same? And it's similar to our forward speech, but it's not the same. It's your personal expression with your own voice of that song, right? So if you're singing like with Player, the way that it expressed, you'll hear it in crowds. You'll hear an expression, a group expression that comes together in a message, or just one person, a duet. You will be hearing individual expressions of a group, of an individual, of a duet, however many people you're hearing it. It's an expression of truth from that side of our consciousness. And so it's not the same every time. Even if so I sing a song and you sing the same song, and it's not going to be the same all the way through. The expressions will not be the same. There will be your individual expressions through your consciousness of that song.
Yeah, based on what your interpretation is or your intent, because you don't know that there's reverse speech in it that's evil. And if you're singing it from a place where you think it's coming from love and light, then is that how it's interpreted?
I'm not sure. Ask me that again. I'm not sure what you're saying. What you do is you compare the forward and the reverse, and you have to listen to it, and then put it in context, both forward and backward, and decide, is this congruent? If it is congruent, then it's the truth. And if it is incongruent, then it is a lie. And it's going to be the forward that's the lie, because our reverse speech is an involuntary system.
Yeah.
it always tells the truth. So it is the one you measure by. So if it's incongruent, then the forward speech is not telling the truth in some way. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that
Yeah. Yeah.
the question you were asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Oh, and guys, our Telegram is the best place to go to communicate with me. And I think there are only like 70 something people in the chat, but there are over 700 that have joined. But that is the best place, because then I can go and leave a voicemail on that one. I can't do that on Facebook. So it's a much more personable experience.
Yeah, and I love your messages. Sometimes you just like let them have it, and I'm like, yes, go Tiff, go.
Yeah, I go in there and I'm like,
they need to be hung. They need to be like.
I'm posting there, but yeah, I leave voice messages and I'm like, I need to get a few things off my chest.
Yeah, I love it. It's like the rawest form, and I love it. So thanks for inviting me to that group.
Yes. I'm so glad you're there.
There's the link for Tiffany's Telegram channel, right?
Yeah, that is also on our high page. Our high page is hy.page/our still small voice. So all of our video channels and our social media channels that I communicate through most often are listed there. And that's going to be mostly Facebook. I do have X, and they keep throwing me off of there. So
I wonder why.
I used to put a lot of time and energy to X, but I'm like, they keep throwing me off, and they keep hiding what I'm posting.
That's because
they keep throwing Kimberly off of TikTok. Jeff, they keep throwing Kimberly off of TikTok. This is the third time they've taken her down, and I've even gone through like super compliance training, and they just don't want her talking. So,
but that's how you know.
I stopped posting to TikTok, and
yeah,
so we're on there. But so if you're following us on there, I'm not posting to TikTok anymore, because I have seen that they are going the way of Facebook and all the others. But Telegram, like, they arrested that guy.
Yeah.
And Telegram, to me, there are problems with it, because there are definitely censorship issues with it, but it's the most free of all of them that I've come across so far. And Signal might be a good one too, but all the rest of them, it's that Stasi nutball cult has got hold of them. So and what I keep trying to do, because I'm like, this is all hands on deck, whether you're a billionaire or you're a common man, all of us are going to cross at some point. And I'm like, and that's going to be the great equalizer. And I keep telling them, I'm like, you people don't know anything about surveillance. You don't know anything about surveillance, because you need all this technology to do it, and God is the ultimate surveiller.
Right.
And he doesn't need any equipment to do it.
That's actually true. That's actually true. The internet of everything everywhere is the trees and God. Like, he's taking receipts. Trust me, people.
That dude can see everything you do, and when you cross, you're going to have to answer for it. He's giving you all this rope, and you have either rescued yourself and your loved ones with that rope, or you're hanging yourself with it.
That's karma. That's karma. This is so true.
I only have a comment, if I may. Is it all right? And this has really been wonderful, because I sit here with the V2K just blasting nonstop, telling me what to say, what to introduce, and the subject matter. This person's wrong, that person's right. The usual carry on. And I've adopted this method now, which is called the gray rock method, where you just don't reply to the narcissist. And I have this almost 20 hours of the day. They wake me every single morning from the deepest sleep, and the pain, the pressure in my head is overwhelming. And I just think it's wonderful when people come together like this and share information and get it out, because one new person might come on here and just go, oh, thank God I've found some people that I can rely on. They're going through exactly the same BS that I'm going through. And I lived in LA for 28 years before I came back to Sydney in 2011, and I wasn't aware of what was going on. In retrospect, I can understand that I was put into some of the most dangerous situations. I wasn't a good boy, you know. I partied with everybody else and drank and whatever. And I came back to Sydney, and it's just overwhelming. But I've adopted that grey rock method now, and it's better for me to do that because they're running out of days. Every single day they continue to do this to anybody, to hurt people. It's going to work up against them. And I believe in a higher power. I believe in any religion, as long as you don't hurt somebody. And what's going on in the world at the moment, it's a privilege to sit back and be as healthy as I can be, but at the same time, I'm not really healthy. But it's a privilege to be back in my home base and look at what's going on in the world and say, my God, I wish my journey's been stopped. I could have helped other people around the world, but I can't do that anymore. I used to have concerts here in my home. So I just believe in the wrath of our Creator. You know, we are all born separately, individually. We're given our God-given minds, and our love of this earth is so incredible. How you cannot respect even nature is beyond my understanding. So I just talk about the wrath of God is going to come back at you, and how long are you going to continue with this game, because they call it a game with me, before you wake up to yourselves. You know, really, you get a really good day charge out of commenting on everything through Craig LaForest's eyes. You know, I can walk through the streets of Sydney and they comment on anything, or I can play Jeopardy and I'm given the answers. It's so sad to think people are still not getting the message. But all I want to say is thank you for the program. Thank you for today's discussion. Really wonderful to listen to you and just have a bit of a laugh. You know, it's just great when you can step back and look at it and just go, you know what, laughter, you know, God gave us the ability to laugh and cry. And how amazing. Why? You know, why? It's stunning. You know, you've got to recognize that there's something bigger than you out there that's provided you with this, and there's an evil force in this incredible infinity. So thank you for today.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for coming, Craig. And I want to put to everybody 10%. So in your reverse speech, you have different levels that come through, and based on the nature of the reversal, you can kind of gear toward where it's coming from. But so there's the individual level, there's the group level, and then there's higher consciousness level. And that comes through only about 10% of the time. Which is interesting, because we are down here to have an experience, and God is not being a helicopter mother. Right? Y'all know it, hovering over us constantly, but just there watching. And they do come in. It's absolutely amazing when I find that 10%. Those are jewels, you know, among the reverse speech. And so I found one of Carrie Cassidy's before, and then she responded to it, and she didn't even, like, we are getting this information on a subtle level. So Carrie was kind of being a little bit big for her britches when she was talking about, because she was talking about Corey Good, and she wanted to mix it up and fight with him in public, you know, over his, because they were having a disagreement about what was going on. And the truth about that is they were both wrong. And I find that a lot. Like, these people that are going at each other, usually they're both wrong in some ways and right in others. You know, and reverse speech will sort of bring those out and bring them together. But her higher aspect came in and basically said, oh, you like to mix it up and throw shit on people, you know. Basically. And then she said in her next sentence, she was like, yeah, maybe I do need to reconsider that. In her reverse speech, she's having a conversation with her higher aspect, but then she talks herself right out of it and starts heading back in that direction that it told her not to go in. It doesn't, it guides you. And so she went away from her guidance instead of toward it, because she went right back into the shit.
Yeah.
So we are being guided, but people talk about spirit guides and all of that stuff, and those are the ones that are trying to misguide you. You have to look, if you're looking toward ETs and aliens for your guidance, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah. You're given this. You're basically given this when you're born. You know, it's there for you. It's part of your being.
Yeah.
It's so easy to identify.
Yeah.
And to, I just saw a message there from Sam, and, to radiate us because you don't understand us. And to the earlier comment, yes, the reason that you're using us because we have something that you are still trying to understand. You can't articulate it enough face to face. You don't have the something to stand in front of me and tell me what's going on here that you really hate about Craig LaForest. That you have to do this, that you have to use your V2K, you have to burn me, and you have to, they're not articulate enough. So I think to your point, Tiffany, I think it's even smaller than 10%. There are some very bright people who are caught up in this program. To an earlier point that you made, I used to live in Los Angeles when I was just about prior to leaving Los Angeles to come home. I did some work on a consulting basis for the scientist, film director James Cameron, and I knew his wife Susie Amos Cameron prior to her auditioning for Titanic, and she got the part of the granddaughter that goes out to the research ship. And I was one night standing with Jim, who was the most arrogant person, but I loved my friend, and I was living in the compound. And I walked in, he was watching Titanic because he'd given back his director's fee because it took so long to create this movie. And he knew that I was involved, love ships. I travel as much as I can. I'm bombarded. I've just come back from Europe after going up the West Coast and seeing the poor people who are suffering up West Africa. I just spent 40 days on a ship from Cape Town to Civitavecchia in Rome. And so he knew that my passion was about giving back and hearing the stories of other people and trying to help other people. But he sat there and finished his meal on his plate. I finished my meal, and it was an awkward situation because I found him so arrogant. But we both went to the kitchen sink, and I scraped off my bits of what was left over, rinsed the plate and put it in the dishwasher. And he just put his in the sink, and he turned to me sharply and he said, "You know what, Craig, I don't know why you did that, but I decided when I became," and you were talking about this earlier on, about celebrity and entertainment. He said, "I decided when I became a celebrity, I would never rinse my plate and put it in the dishwasher ever again." So this is what happens when people become, the ego takes over, and he's a multi-billionaire from all these movies. That's what happens when the ego takes over. It's a case of control. That's all you have left. And this is unfortunately the situation with these criminals, these perpetrators who are hurting all of us.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. I don't want to take any more time, but
you're so welcome. I want to address the 10%. That came from David Oates and his
right.
When you are in his course, he tells you, that's one of the things that he has found is that the higher consciousness comes through in your reverse speech approximately 10% of the time.
Okay.
And so these are reversals that we're talking about. When you are speaking, sometimes you'll get a nice one coming from your higher consciousness or from God consciousness, so those are really nice.
So guys, I really hate to jump in here and be the bad guy, but we are 56 minutes over our original time lot. So I am going to
fascinating.
I'm going to call this a quits, but we do have the list of people interested in the $25. So we will kind of pull that together. Don't forget, she does have this offer. Tony dropped the link in there a few times for the reverse speech, the 2.5 minute reverse speech. And this is a special offer. And not only that, you will get a signed copy of Kimberly's hardcover book, the Unveiling Shadows of Coercive Control. Sorry, I've got my daughter here with me. Kimberly, you don't know I'm doing this, but I'm also going to throw in 30 minutes one-on-one with you as part of that package.
Absolutely.
So you're getting a lot of value there, everybody. So the link's in there. Check it out. If you have questions, you can drop chats in the groups or reach out to Tiff directly or Kimberly directly, and we will answer any questions we can.
Please join us on our Telegram.
Yes, there you go. So I appreciate every single one of you for joining in today. I do hope that you got value out of this. Would you drop a comment down and tell me, did you get value out of this? Was there something that you were able to take away? Was there an aha moment? Let us know your thoughts, because it makes it very helpful for us to consider what future lives will be about in future Q&As. So drop it in, tell us what you got, and if there's something you'd like to hear about next, if you want Tiffany to come back and talk about something else specifically, let us know. Drop comments. Otherwise, we appreciate every single one of you. Tiffany, you are a beautiful human being. Thank you so much for being by my side these past 2 weeks as I've trying to navigate my own mess. I'm just going to call it a mess. I'm not going to use the T word yet. Just going to call it a mess. But thank you, everybody. I do hope. And also, if you're in here, remember that Kimberly and I go live every Tuesday at 3:00 Central Standard Time on her YouTube channel. It's Unveiling Shadows podcast. It's the survivor versus the skeptic. It's actually quite entertaining. So please join us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can access us all pretty much. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Kimberly or Tiffany, before I force you guys to sign off?
Craig, and anybody else with V2K, would you all let me know if you ever happen by to the U.S. Congress, and let me know if your V2K stops?
So certainly, I'm not planning a trip at the moment. I know there's something coming up in September for Targeted Justice. They're going over there, I think September 5. So I'm not sure if I'll be flying from Sydney. I get hammered on the way over badly on the plane with V2K. So I've got to pull back a little bit, but would love to be there in spirit.
Well, we'll get that then from them in September. I'm sure they'll have some UK people that can report to us. I'm excited to hear about that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all, and I would love to see every one of y'all on Telegram. Can I put those? Let me put our Telegram links in here really quickly before we leave.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Craig.
Bye.
Bye, Craig. Now I can't find it. It's the member link that I'm trying to find.
Okay. We have something special coming for the Radical Truth, the tribe, the non-VIPs. So stay tuned. Pay attention to their socials and emails, and we'll get something out to you pretty soon. I'm very excited.
Okay, here it is. It's Telegram. It's at Our Still Small Voice. It's t.me / at Our Still Small Voice. And the chat will be that, except it will have the word chat on it.
Good to know.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
There's Kimberly. Stay on.
Okay.
Just get everybody else to drop off here.
There's Igor.
Oh, he's just joining us now.
Yeah,
late, buddy.
a few minutes ago.
You're late, buddy. You missed the whole thing. All right, I'm just gonna remove some of these people from the call.
Hey, Tranquility.
So that we can
for joining.
Hi, Tranquility.
Just gonna remove everybody else. So how do you girls here? Wait, hold on. We still got
I just removed 2.
okay. All right, looking good. How do you feel?
Good.
Oh, I thought it went really well.
You
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
I feel like it went really well. So we'll probably push out an email just reminding people. I'll put out a post about the offer, and then we'll just let you know. If you want me to have an email sent to you anytime somebody signs up, let me know what email you want it to go to.
Yeah, it needs to go to, they need to send it to us because I have to get their, they have to
Well,
sign.
yeah. So
in
in your email response, or in our automated email response, it shows like all the information that you said they needed to provide to you with the links to the documents and everything. So I'm just wondering if somebody registers or signs up, do you want me to send? Okay, I'll send you.
OurStillSmallVoice@protonmail.com.
Okay, so I'll go in here and make sure that I can send that to you. All right. I feel that it went well. I think we just need to keep, promoting it. I think that, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We just keep promoting it. And I think, sorry, Kimberly, but I felt like if I added that extra 30 minutes with you, it will kind of pad the value, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
that
very
so they're not taken back by the surprise,
Yeah.
especially since you're getting a percentage of it. I feel like we should anyway,
Market it however we can. Yeah, so Tiffany
Yeah.
can get out of the truck just like Igor. I want Tiffany and Igor out of the fucking truck.
Yeah, I'm in the fucking truck too.
I know. I don't want you both out of sitting in Wi-Fi all day. Like, no. You guys are my friends and they're fucking with my friends, and I don't like people who fuck with my friends, including my friend Erica, which they're fucking with her too.
Amen.
It's all right. I've been spending the whole day I've been spending the whole day. I was outside. We were painting rocks for the garden. Kimberly.
Good.
I was pulling weeds. I sat in the sun most of the day. Like, the kids were having a lot of fun. We're getting the office almost moved back in, so that's going to save us a shit ton of money and energy.
Good.
Had the most amazing phone call and interviews these past 2 weeks. Like, one guy filmed over 800 legacy documentaries. The man is brilliant. Had another call with this guy named Brandon Coleman Jr., who was like 50 years, like the expert in branding. And he was like, I love your podcast. I'm like, this man has, like, he charges $100,000 to speak, and he's telling me how much he loves what I'm doing. Oh my God, it was amazing.
Oh, good.
So those were 2 really good feel-good moments that have kind of helped me come out of this funk. I'm waking up earlier. But yeah, been out in the garden a lot. Like, my onions, my potatoes, my some of my peppers, they're growing. I'll send you pictures, Kimberly, of how it's come together. I love fairy gardens, Tiff. So
we all need to be growing our own food, because I went to the farmer's market today and I bought the most amazing tomatoes that actually taste like tomatoes. They're not like the pink, mushy, genetically modified pieces of shit you get at the restaurant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got jalapenos, hot serranos, green peppers, yellow peppers.
Just on my porch.
Yeah.
I don't even have that, 'cause I'm in a 550 square foot kill box apartment. So I'm trying to get to a house.
Yeah, you're gonna get there, Tiffany. Trust me.
Hey, Tiffany, I manifested a house with absolutely no money. A completely ruined, completely ruined credit, like 4 kids, no idea how I was gonna do it. We came to Wyoming to meet with Jason's family or whatever, and I just fell in love. Like, my pixie fairy heart belonged here. And I went home and I started packing. No idea how I was going to do it. no idea how I was going to get $30,000 or $20,000 out of debt and be able to pay, down because our credit was awful. So I went home and I started packing. And within 15 days, I got a very, decent size estate gift from the man who I worked with for the Childhood Cancer Foundation for 8 years. Paid off all of our credit cards. Our credit score rose fast. We came out here. We were going to look at 3 houses while we were here for the day. I said in my head, I want a split story home, a fireplace. I want a cutting board that comes out of the kitchen counter. I have no idea where I came from that. I said, I want a large backyard with a garden and raspberry bushes and purple trees. Very first house we walked into. And I did like my own little manifestation ritual, but very first house we walked into, split floors, fireplace, stupid thing that comes out of the cabinet or the kitchen counter. Go back into the backyard. It's huge. It has purple trees. It has raspberry bushes. It has a garden. We put in our offer that night, told them we would be here for 24 hours. We got approved. We moved from the day I started packing. I was in my own home in 45 days. You have to believe you can do it. You have to write it down and you have to start living as is. Living as is, it's going to happen.
I'm going to manifest that for you.
You're going to have 10 clients a month.
I'm going to manifest it for you, Tiffany.
Yeah, we'll all do it together. But write down your goals, Tiffany. Create a vision board and do not stop reading it until you've achieved your goals. Because I'm telling you from experience, $30,000 in debt, terrible credit, and then all of a sudden, all right, guys, I'm gonna go back out with the kids. So Kimberly, I'm gonna send you pictures of the rocks and all the stuff that's growing. I'm so excited. Already they're growing. So all right. Love you all. Oh, look at you. You just jumped in and I'm just gonna jump in and interfere on the conversation. Look at him back there smirking. All right, ladies. I will talk to you later.
Okay, talk to you later, Erica. Bye.
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 How's it going, Igor?
All right, I gotta go.
You don't have a kitten?
Can you hear me?
Where's your kitten?
Right. I am crying. Can you hear me? Yes or no?
I can hear you.
Here's my kid. I gotta use the restroom and get a drink of water. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. I'll wait for you.
Kitty. Just wait. Oh, that was fun. Oh. I've got to put my sound back on.
I'm fucking crying from listening to what you got to say.
What?
I'm fucking crying. And you said you're gonna go to use the restroom and come back. Right?
Oh, my uncle.
I'm fucking crying. I'm crying. You can see by the fucking.
Okay. Thanks, Tiffany, for that. It was great. We're going to get you out of that 500 square foot apartment with that SF95. I'll tell you how it works because I sent 2 certified mails, one to the U.S. Marshal and then one to the U.S. Army. So I'll let you know.
Yeah. How do you know that it's going to them? I mean, that they're directly involved?
Because I found that guy that I said from Help Solutions Tech. So Help Solutions Tech. And I saw a short social media clip of his. And he said if you're a targeted individual you need to go to my website and then you need to fill out the SF95 form. And don't forget to ask, put a dollar amount. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to put a dollar amount and it's going to be a huge fucking number because I need to help other people. But yeah.
But how do you, like, you need to charge the people that are most directly doing it. And how do you know who that is?
Well, I put DARPA. I put my next door neighbor. Yeah, I put DARPA, my next door neighbor, Mark Anthony Pittman, who owned a company and Jewish, by the way, enhancing communities through technology, which I called enhancing communities through twatology. And I was like, this motherfucker. And so then we looked him up, and then his website had like all of the 15-minute cities. And then all of a sudden his website disappeared once my aunt and uncle started doing all this research. And then the Mormon Church, I put the Mormon Church on there for gang stalking. So you know who your perpetrators are. And if you don't like completely know, you can just put DARPA because they're all part of the MK Ultra.
DARPA and DOD.
Yeah, and Department of Justice. I put them on there too. So just
and
FYI.
I think I could also list E-Systems and Raytheon.
Yeah.
Raytheon body systems. My dad worked for E-Systems and Raytheon bought them.
Okay, so then you can list both of
He
those
was being
because
being
they can
blacklisted and
link
targeted at work.
you. Yeah, they can link you back to that if you call out even like 4 of the perpetrators, which you already did, and put them on the list. Put them on that form, the RF95 form, and send it in. Make sure you send it certified mail so that you get a return receipt of them receiving it. And don't forget to put your dollar amount, which is what the African American guy said. From
what dollar amount are you putting?
I put 10 million
per day.
I put 10 million period.
Guys,
like they're gonna pay me
girls, can
10
you
million.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Me, no. I'm very fucking far from be okay. But I'm not okay. But what Jesse Beltran said, we need more. I'm very drunk right now for what's happening in my life. But what Jesse Beltran said, we need more boots on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
We need more people wake up. And it's not women like you girls doing a wonderful job, but you're not the one who can fight.
Look up the RF, the SF. Sorry, it's the SF95 form. SF95 form. I found 2 addresses which it needed to be addressed to. One on one.
Is
website.
it SF-95?
Yep. SF-95. You'll find it on .gov. You'll find it on a .gov website, and it's
Standard Form 95, also known as claim for damage, injury, or death. This form is used to file. Can I claim damage for my father that they murdered?
Yep. I would do both. I do one for your father and one for you for your torture program. I put death via death from free speech is what I put on mine, but they know the torture. So just fill it out and
can you send me a copy of yours so that I can riff off of it?
Yep.
Can you send it to my, just attach it to my email, tiffvision@protonmail.com?
Yeah, I can send it to you. I put it in my cam scanner, so I'm gonna have to get that and then I'll send it off to you. But I don't know. Like I said, I feel like we need to be an American state citizen before that, but here, I'm going to share this
Before I do that.
but let's just see. Fill it out anyway. Fill it out yourself as a U.S. citizen.
Kimberly, I don't know. I think I may need to do that. Correct the status first, because when I wrote Donald Trump, I got a mental health letter back that was gaslighting the shit out of me. And then when I sent the weaponization committee a letter, to all of their people who get the communications for their person, I sent all of those. I got 3 auto replies back. One was, I'm pregnant. One was, I'm not in a place where I can easily return emails. Where, I'm like, are you in prison? Fuckhead. And then one was, I don't work there anymore. I haven't worked there for 2 years. So I know those fuckers got them.
Yep, exactly.
And but they were ignoring it. So and Sabrina said that the directive says for them to ignore.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that will get anywhere. But Igor seems to have disappeared.
Well, he was drunk and we weren't listening to him, and we have other stuff to do.
Yeah,
so,
he's very drunk. I'm very concerned about that. He needs to go on to bed.
Yep, he needs to go into bed. So let's just not entertain that right now. So I sent you one. Let me see. Did I send it all in? Okay, yeah. So I sent you one email to the Tiff at
protonmail.com.
Yep, I did. So look for that. See if you can see it. And then I put it all in one because I sent it to 2 different addresses for the Office of Counsel, for the Army Corps Engineers of Office of Counsel, and then the U.S. Marshal.
Okay. When did you send them?
I sent them on, let's see, I filled this out on June 1st. So I sent them June 2nd. So they should have them by Monday at the latest, I'm thinking. But I asked for, 10 million. I also put the Fusion Center on there. So there's a Fusion Center next to you. I put Fusion Center, Lehigh, Utah. I put DARPA, non-government NGOs running the program. Death by free speech. Someone placed me on a list and making me a subject of persistent attacks and smear campaigns, abnormal surveillance, humiliation rituals, and constant digital harassment. These attacks from governmental, international, or third-party sources, NGOs. They wanted to silence me and institutionalize me. Stalking often intensifies, and then I just put a bunch of shit. Then the perpetrators I spoke out against Bill Gates, the WHO, the WEF on Twitter in 2022. Then they tried to take me out several times via direct energy weapon system. You can ask DARPA or look at the TSD to find out who put me on the list.
Oh, yeah.
The targeting took place at Forest Glen condominiums in Salt Lake City, Utah, aka Smart City. Neighbor was Mark Anthony Pittman, enhancing communities through technology, and the doctor Stephen A. Warren and the Mormon Church were my perps. So instinctively in your heart, if not, do your reverse speech. It'll tell you exactly who to put on that piece of paper. But you deserve $10 million, if not more, because, of your dad. And they offed my daughter too. Like, she died of cancer, and because of her cell phone.
For your daughter.
I'm going to. We need to end this shit so that we can help other people.
And I put on my letter to them. You should read my letter that I sent them. I'm like, I want an accounting.
Yeah.
This damage.
Yeah. In fact, you include that letter. And if you can go back and find the email where they sent like a reply back to you, put all of those in with the SF-95 form so that you have backup, more proof. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait until I need to do some reverse speech on changing my status, because these people are handling my pain management. I think there
We
are
talked about that.
I think there are a group of them that are, like I said, it's team Satan and team Diet Satan. Donald Trump does not seem to want genocide, but he's like captured. So with the more and like with Mike Grady, and I put out a call on that Telegram, and they responded to it before I ever knew Mike. I was like, hey, I am getting something on this. This is before Trump was raided and his allies. I said, this Tarrant County judge is saying something that I am trying to work out what he is saying. I said, would you get this shit off of me? I'm being tortured so hard that I cannot even focus. Get this shit off of me. Do you want this information or not? And that's basically the message that I put out on Telegram. I mean, I can pull it up where you can hear me saying it. I'm like, get this off so that I can hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
And they got it off.
Yeah.
So that I could, because apparently they were interested in that information.
Yeah.
And that Tarrant County judge was crooked as shit. And so Tori's group went and addressed him, and then I did his reverse speech and I published it. So we had him both ways, and then he immediately retired.
This is how we take these cunts out. I call them cunts because that's all I can say.
In his reverse speech, he was saying, I said, listen, this man is talking about a raid. I need to hear what else he's saying. Get this shit off of me. Do y'all want this information or not? You know?
I talk shit to them all the time. Yeah.
So they got it off because apparently they wanted that information.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all of you now need to see this. These short-sighted people, because there are a lot of young people that have been misguided.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that they can all stand up together, because they are also being tortured by this system. I'm sure, you know, they may get perks, but they also get threatened, and so they all need to stand up and say, okay, we need to bring it back to God and just repent and move it back where it's supposed to be. You don't want to cross having done all this evil shit, and you need to not just, I don't mean these people need to just say, I'm sorry.
That's correct.
You need to repair the damage that you have caused.
That's correct. That's fucking correct.
To the best of your ability. And I'm like, and guess who knows whether you're doing the best of your ability or not? God knows every bit of it. Yeah. So, the whole record is in there. You can talk about anything past, present, or future, and it's in there.
Yep.
But you know what? The reverse speech that I got when I was like, well, who's going to be president before Trump was president? I knew, I've known it's going to be him, but I wanted to get it out in the reverse speech, and it said, check back on hat night. In other words, check back when the hat is awarded on hat night, the position, you know, which hat are you wearing, that thing? That's the metaphor. But I was like, why is it telling me why is it not giving me that information and telling me to check back on hat night? And I think that was about, I was being retaliated against, and I was not getting support. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't you let other people stand up and bear this weight instead of you doing it all the time? And so that's what I've done. And hopefully this will help get the ball rolling. Cause I'm like, I don't know how this needs to get out there, but it needs to get out there.
Yeah. But if you and I had money to support ourselves, we could do this shit full time. And then, and then teach people, the truth, which is basically what we are. That's why we were part of the first fucking beta test. Yeah. They
found the ones that were the threats. They function on extremes. They're like, okay, who are the worst threats that are going to take us down? And they're they've watched and surveilled everybody their whole lives.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they already knew who was going to accept the vaccine and who wasn't, and who was
Yep.
right and who was not. They knew all of that, and they're just right there trying to influence. And I'm like, you know what? It could, because everybody else that's participating in that, I need them to hear me, and the rest of us, I'm like, you're supposed to be doing this too. So how
Yep.
about you tear up that system from the inside, and we'll tear it up from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on
Like
it.
barracudas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody needs to roll up their sleeves and get busy. And I'm like, tear
yes. Yes. All right. I'm tired.
I know. I am too. I've got to go finish making my beef chips.
Ooh, okay. Enjoy it.
I will. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.